definitely thinking about athletes in general, that's kind of their identity, the sport that they've been doing for, since they were 3, 4, 5 years old. So when they endure a season-ending injury, this can take away kind of who they are, and they feel very lost at first. So depression, from a clinical psychology side, we look for some main symptoms that a person has, and they need to have these symptoms for 2 weeks, and almost every day, all day, that they're experiencing these symptoms. So usually what we look for first is depressed mood, and then we'll look for loss of interest and pleasure. And then after that, we're kind of looking at how else is this impacting their daily lives. Is it impacting sleep?
I was up a lot of nights.
Appetite. Are they able to function, go out through their day normally, or is it impacting like social interactions?
Which I didn't really want to see anybody at the time.
Work, school.
But definitely I felt a disconnection with the team.
Those are the different things that we look for when we're looking for depression. So we do know from a clinical side that too much anxiety, or if we're anxious for too long, that can lead into depressive symptoms. Also overtraining, injury, and then also burnout can lead to depression as well. I would definitely say some of the biggest strategies that I give athletes who may be struggling with depression or just feeling sadness is definitely staying connected to their community, whether that support system is their teammates, their coaches, or maybe it's family and life outside of sports. Because sometimes we can get so stuck with our team, we spend tons of hours with them, that we forget about, hey, I still got a life outside of sports as well. Those are some big ones to help to kind of battle those depressive symptoms.
I would say basketball alone takes a good 8 hours of the day. Practice, film, weights, have meetings with coaches and individuals, and then working out by yourself. And then it is a grind.
I think, one of the things that luckily we're starting to see become more aware in the college athlete realm is just that college athletes are under a lot of pressure. Like, not only are you a student, right? You're going to classes, you have exams, you have study hall hours, you have to go see your academic advisor, but you're also a student, right? Or an athlete. That's the second thing that you are. And so thinking about all the travel time that you have, the practices, the morning lifts, maybe some people have to volunteer and doing all those different things, seeing the trainer. So that really leads to a lot of pressure and a lot of stress that they're under. And so from that anxiety, I think that also then leads to depression, because then that's whenever the overtraining, the lack of sleep comes in, which can lead to burnout. And that all of that combined becomes the perfect storm that leads into depressive symptoms for athletes.
And so sometimes I do wish that they understood what I was going through, but at the end of the day, I would never wish this on anybody due to the fact of what it does to your mental health, as long as with your physical health. Depending on how strong you are with your faith, it can mess with your spiritual health as well.
There are some Christian communities and some pastors that believe that mental health is more of a spiritual warfare, and the fact of they might tell you you're not praying enough, you're not close enough to God, you're not reading your Bible enough.
I wasn't in the Word as much, up late at night a lot. It's like, what am I doing here? Like, what's my purpose here?
So instead of wanting to seek these coping skills, is what we essentially teach as mental health professionals, it's more of like leaning into the biblical counseling of like, how can I pray more? What prayer should I pray? How do I, release this over to God? And which is all crucial and important, but also like really looking at it from a mental health standpoint of what are some other skills, such as deep breathing, looking and examining at, what are our thoughts? Are they negative? How can I turn them into positive ones? Looking at their social life, like how do we get them more connected into a community? Which for a student athletes that's going through an injury, whether it's a short-term injury, long-term injury, the community, as you know, we were really built by God, designed by God for community. We need that in order to be able to help us to grow and to be okay and to be able to get through this tough season. Yeah, for the athlete that's battling depression, I would say don't give up. Today, tomorrow is always worth living. Reach out to those that love you and care about you, even if it's really hard, even if you feel like I don't want to be a burden, I don't want to seem like I'm too much. You know, as athletes, we're told from a very young age, don't show weakness, don't show emotion, like be able to handle everything. But in all reality, in this life, like we can't handle everything by ourselves. And so really reaching out to your community, asking for prayer, and turning to God too, of just crying out to Him, letting Him know, like, Lord, this is too much, like I can't do this, please help me. Those would be some of my biggest encouragement.